the room is. I'm Michelle Talbot-Smith. This is Denise Hunt. We are one person short, so that should limit our presentation, shorten our presentation by 25 minutes. Our practice style. She's very long-winded. She couldn't be with us today, but she has been an active participant in our group. Our topic is designing interdisciplinary instruction in professional learning community. We do have a Weebly. If you're interested in bringing it up, it is eraleadershipinterdisciplinary.weebly.com.
That's on the bottom of your sheet.
It is on the bottom of the executive summary. This topic was more innovative in September and October when we were given it, or when we chose it. Our work through the course of this school year has made it less innovative because with our schools unpacking the Common Core and our work with unpacking the Common Core and the work that our teachers are doing with scrolling, hopefully, our units of instruction are more interdisciplinary. Okay, so going from there.
The what? Yellow. All right.
And we're going to go slideshow. Let's go to our slideshow. Oh, very top, very top. Where?
I promise we didn't blow the machine again. Okay, so designing lessons and instructions that are interdisciplinary and with our learning communities. First, I want to start with interdisciplinary and cross-curricular teaching, because when we were more or less researching this, they were both just about the same. It kept coming up that the interdisciplinary, cross-curricular, and also the multidisciplinary kept coming up. But I have a slide at the end I want to show you that shows how it's broken down and how they do all tie together. So, interdisciplinary and cross-curricular teaching does involve a conscious effort to apply knowledge, principles, and values to more than one academic discipline simultaneously. And as Michelle said, we have been doing this already. So our schools, our elementary schools, especially with our scrolls and planning, are already implementing this. It also connects content and consciously identifies the relationship between subjects. And that's where we want to lead our students. We want our students to do that. We want our teachers to also do that. Now, I want you to think for a little bit, how does discipline teaching differ from interdisciplinary teaching? And if you can just talk among yourselves just for a second, just try and talk. How do you think it differs? Discipline teaching from interdisciplinary teaching. What's the difference? Okay, if you can just share with us the discipline teaching. How does discipline teaching differ from interdisciplinary teaching?
First thing that pops in mind is vocabulary.
Vocabulary? Okay. What else do you think? How do you see it differing?
We thought of siloed versus connected.
Okay. Connected. And I have to tell you, one of the things I thought about were Legos. You know how you have, like in your child, you have your Legos, you have your red Legos, your yellow Legos, your blue Legos, your green Legos. So I'm seeing like all those different color Legos as different, more or less, subject areas. So, the next question, what impact does discipline teaching have on interdisciplinary teaching? What's the impact of discipline teaching on interdisciplinary teaching? Do we have to have that discipline teaching in order to have the interdisciplinary teaching? And why are both necessary and equally important? So if you can just talk to your neighbor. Okay, if you can share out with us, what impact does disciplinary teaching have on interdisciplinary teaching? And do you really feel that both are necessary, or why are they both necessary? So, yeah.
Well, I mean, in terms of folks' expertise, if someone in school where they departmentalize, you have almost disciplinary teaching, even though it doesn't, where the outcomes could be through writing or presentation or whatever. Matt's a much better science teacher, I'm much better with social studies. We can capitalize on our strengths to make our experiences for our kids stronger. But then we can still teach interdisciplinary through the outcomes.
Exactly. It's like laying that foundation so that you can do the interdisciplinary. Anyone else?
I mean, there has to be explicit instruction within interdisciplinary work. So, explicit instruction within content.
Many of us in this room are elementary, but think about this at the secondary level, when you are so content specific. And how would interdisciplinary instruction look different at the secondary level?
Northern Middle's going to give it a try.
I think one of the negative impacts is time constraints. So what Ryan said, building it together, because if you're trying to do your discipline, especially the secondary, how are you going to blend in the interdisciplinary? So that kind of solves a negative impact.
When I taught science, they always complained when you write up something. There's no English class.
Right.
You have to write.
Yeah.
Technical writing.
Yeah, that's the one. So, how will interdisciplinary teaching impact students? What impact will interdisciplinary teaching and also our learning community, establishing those, what impact can this have on our students? You can chat with each other. Okay. We just need to jump around your name a little bit. Okay, if you can share it with us, thinking about how interdisciplinary teaching impacts students, and also our interdisciplinary teaching, how will it help prepare our students for an evolving, globally connected future? So what impact will it have? How do you see it impacting our students and our learning community?
We talked about, regardless of what you do in this world, the knowledge, skills and processes that you need to have are going to come from a variety of places. So, an interdisciplinary teaching model is setting the stage for what they're going to do in the real world when they leave our K-12 system.
Many of the topics today, going last kind of fits into this topic really well because, UDL, gaming, all of the topics that we talked about today really fit. You can't teach in isolation. You can't teach reading in a reading block. You can't teach math in a math block. You can't teach science in a science block. You can't teach kids to think in such isolated blocks of time because we don't use our brains when we're playing video games. We don't use our brains when we're talking to people. We don't use our brains when we're building things and creating things in such linear segmented blocks of segments of our brains. We need to then be able to teach kids to think that way, so we need to be able to provide that instruction. So in interdisciplinary units of instruction.
And I'm thinking when you're playing those video games and those different things, it's like really unconsciously you're strategizing. And that's what we want our kids to do, just to bring it together naturally, to have that strategy, to be able to do that. Now thinking about job opportunities, I think of when I was in elementary school and growing up and showing my age, the kind of jobs or job opportunities that would be available to us. I mean, I wasn't thinking of computer analysts when I was growing up. There are just so many different jobs that are going to be available to our kids. So I want you to think, what kind of job opportunities will be available in the future, in 20 years, 50 years, 75 years, because we're trying to prepare our students for a future that we will, and part of it we will not see. So what kind of job opportunities will be available in that time span? And what is the best way to prepare our students for these job opportunities? And that is where our leader comes in, and interdisciplinary instruction.
All right, help me with the technology here, Denise. I'm not Mac oriented, and she is.
I want to right click it in. I don't want to blow a bulb again, so what can I do?
Excellent show. How about that?
We can exit, that's fine. And minus the yellow. Yeah, it's at the very bottom.
All right. As I said when I started, it's neat to see that we all have common threads throughout our presentations, and I know that we didn't talk to many of the other groups, so you guys talked about jobs in the future. You guys started with Stephen Jobs, and we had Stephen Jobs. But if you think about the eras in education, there was really, if you look at the history of education, there's really only three